You're listening to Project 35, a project that I'll be interviewing 35 women coming from different countries and backgrounds. So let's listen to their stories and cheer them on their own unique journey. And I hope you will enjoy it as much as I do. Hi, Elia. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tiffany. I'm good. Yeah, it's been raining a lot recently, so the weather's making me a bit like sleepy, but yeah, other than that, I'm good.
And first of all, thank you so much for agreeing on this interview and
Mhm.
being a part of Project 35. We got to know each other from IANs and during the initial time when we are studying together. I've learned a lot from you, from your sharings, from your wisdom, from all of the posts on your Instagram. And today, we have not been catching up for a while, so I would love, to know what has been going on your side. But first of all, would you like to give a bit of introductions about yourself, maybe so the audience can know more about you, like where are you from, where are you currently located, and your current job as well?
Okay, sure. I just want to say thanks so much for inviting me into this space and for having me as part of this Project 35. Like, I think it's a really meaningful project that you have taken on. Yeah, so a bit about myself. I was born and raised in Singapore, and I'm currently located in Singapore, but I'll be moving to Dubai in 2 weeks. And that would be more of a permanent relocation until I guess we decide we want to move again. Yeah, so that's me for now, and that's what I've been focused on as well, like just preparing for the move to another country. I used to be a social worker and I left my job about slightly more than a year back. And since then, I've been in the field of coaching. Specifically, right now, I'm focused on somatic transformation coaching, really supporting the health professionals as well as helping professionals, and anyone who really desires to create an impact in other people's lives, to really
Mm,
support them in making sure that they don't burn out in the process of trying to support and help others, um,
mm,
which is part of their mission as well. So I'm really here to support them. Yeah, so that is me for now. I
mm.
guess I'll kind of share a bit more as we go along.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you are working with people who, just wanted to support them to make sure that they have more well-balanced life, less stress,
Mm,
and also people wanted to make more impacts on others people's life. So what
yeah.
actually the reason that, make you to choose to go into this direction, out of so many areas of coaching?
Yeah, I think it really came from my own personal experience. So, as I
Mm,
mentioned, I actually started off being a social worker. Like, that is
mm,
my background as well. So, I was a social worker in a family violence specialist center for about 5 years, with 3 years of pursuing my master's in between. But basically, during those years, I kind of looked around me and I saw that a lot of social workers were really struggling
mm,
to take care of themselves because they were so focused on caring for other people and making sure like the clients are being well supported that they ended up neglecting their own well-being. And it was the same for me. It was quite a struggle to really maintain that sense of balance,
mm,
and to feel that sense of peace and calm within myself because I was also taking on a lot of my clients' issues. And I recognized that maybe there needs to be a bit more support in place, for the helping professionals themselves, for them to really understand what actually brought them into the profession in the first place. Because for me, when I really reflected on my life and I was asking myself why I was pushing so hard to help other people, sometimes at the expense of my own health and well-being, it really came down to this idea of like I derived my sense of worth from being of use, and being of help to other people. So when I wasn't feeling like I was helping other people, then it felt like for me, it felt like I wasn't worthy. Um, that my life didn't have a purpose. And I think that's what really led me into like more of that spiritual journey and that soul searching within myself to recognize that I am worthy just as I am. I don't have to work for it. My worth is already there, and I don't have to attach my work to my worth. I don't have to let whatever my title is, my work define how worthy I am. And that's what allowed me to also recognize that I needed to set some boundaries for myself, whether it's in work or in other areas of my life. And that eventually led me to kind of dive deeper into how would I want to be of service in this world without necessarily having to burn myself out in the process, but really being able to thrive. And that's when I realized that, oh, maybe I could support or guide people to
Mm.
recognize this truth for themselves and also be able to thrive in their lives while at the same time being of service and contributing in a meaningful way through their work.
Mm, mm. That's actually sounds very interesting, and I think it's also something that I have been thinking a lot recently. Especially
Mm,
we tend to, like you mentioned, right? We tend to tie our value from our work to our worth, and especially
mm,
when we are taking a step back from a very fast moving life to a very slow moving life, we started to feel unworthy. We started to question
yeah.
what is our purpose in life and what can we contribute to other people's life. So, what are the
Mm.
like few practice that you have done so far that actually you find it helpful for you to actually realize that is our work is not just equally to our work, and what are the practice that you have
Mm.
done so far that help you to be able to identify and see yourself as an individual worth.
I would say, I mean, I think the first thing that really helped me was, like you said, slowing down my life and
Mm,
introducing more pause between what I do and, like, before acting or doing anything, like really stepping back and questioning, like, what is the purpose of doing that in the first place, or like
mm,
why am I in such a rush to get things done, like where is that pressure also coming from. So I think introducing that pause to really contemplate and to check in with ourselves about where our action is coming from, what's the source of motivation, like I think that really helped me. And also in line with slowing down, the practice of yoga was a big part of it.
mm,
Initially, when I practiced yoga, of course, it was more focused on the on the physical practice. Sorry, just doing the asanas and thinking that, okay, that's the way it is. But I also knew there was a more deeper spiritual aspect to yoga. And when I started studying that for myself, and I went through a 200-hour teacher training course, and then continued to learn more about the spiritual aspects of yoga,
mm,
that's when I also kind of realized that, oh, this, for me, like the whole meaning of life, there's so much more than the work that we do and what we are producing in the world.
mm,
And that's also what helped me to reflect on my own life and to slow down and to ask myself the important questions that I needed to ask.
mm,
Um, the other practice, I mean, related to yoga, is I also did a facilitated training in trauma sensitive yoga.
mm,
This is by the Trauma Center. So it's called Trauma Center Trauma Sensitive Yoga, basically. And with this practice, the focus was really more on making choices for ourselves, making
mm,
choices that is going to be best for our body, for our mind, for our soul. And it was also focused on introspection, so sensing of what is going on internally within our
mm,
bodies. And that really helped me to truly become more present within myself. And I
mm,
think when I introduced more time to be present with myself, that's when I realized that I could be fully honest with whatever I'm going through in life. And I think that
mm,
level of self honesty is really what helps us, or helped me in that way, to recognize how, yeah, how I wanted to redirect or recalibrate my own life that was going to support myself as well
mm.
as support me in being of service to others. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I think this is also probably something that is related to what we have mentioned before our interview is that, obviously that you spend a lot of time, taking a pause, into practicing mindfulness practice like yoga in your life. So
Mm,
be more centered around yourself. But, as a coach at the same time, we wanted to be at our service. And one of the way to be our service is to promote our business, to be on
mm,
social medias and so on, and I know it can be very contradicting. So, what
mm,
is your thoughts on that? What is the best way that you find working for you in a way that, making sure that you are aligned with your purpose and your time, but
Mm.
at the same time being visible enough to reach out to the clients in need?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and to be very honest, like that is a major challenge for me, like how
Mm,
to stay visible when honestly I'm a very like I like my privacy and I'm very introverted, so
mm,
I don't really like going on social media as much to like promote myself in that sense or to talk about myself. Sometimes I've tried sharing like my own like experiences and what I've been learning on social media, but other times I just notice myself kind of withdrawing and just taking a step back from all of the social interactions as well. And
mm,
yeah, so I don't know that I've really found that healthy balance yet, but I'm trying to find that right now. I'm trying to see which mediums might be best for me to appear on, like you said, because there is a need to be visible. Because if I'm not visible, then no one's gonna know like what I even
mm,
offer. What I've heard, like some great advice that I've heard from others, is to see it as a process of being discoverable. So I'm not going out there trying to like promote myself just to get clients or to try and pull people in, but rather to share what I know, and share authentically. And then whoever resonates with that would naturally be drawn and come in. So it's that idea of be discoverable in the sense that continue sharing, but don't expect anything out of it. So we don't create that attachment to wanting a certain thing or trying to meet a goal just for the sake of meeting the goal, if that makes sense.
mm. Okay, got it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you are being out there, put yourself out there, promoting your service, but not in the needs to get anything in return, but at the service that you are doing your best to share and so that people who are in need to be able to find you as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's more of creating that resonance through whatever I share,
Mm,
whether it's on social media or other platforms. But I think right now I'm also kind of exploring what other platforms would be more in line with, like you said, my own energy. Because I've also
mm,
recognized that maybe Instagram or Facebook might not be the best, because Instagram, it's like there's the tendency like people are just continuously scrolling and scrolling.
mm,
So there's less opportunity for them to really pause and
mm,
think about things. Whereas maybe there might be other platforms that allow more of that slowing down. Like for example, like Pinterest, it's more of a search engine kind of tool, like based on your interest and
mm.
the content appears on your feed. Yeah.
I see, yes. And I mean, coming from my personal experience, I think it's gonna be a learning journey because
Mm.
we will never know which are the platform that the best for us unless we try. And
Yeah.
when we try actually giving like an honest try, and I feel that, Instagram, Facebook, it can be good in terms of the exposure, but I think a
Mm.
lot of other channels are very good as well, such as YouTube or even podcasts. Especially
Mm.
for podcasts, sometimes people are, these days, I feel that people are spending a lot of time, listening to podcasts. And
Yeah.
I feel personally it's a great platform for introverts as
Mm.
well, because first of all, not everybody are comfortable, um, recording videos and so on. And a lot
Yeah.
of people prefer having this kind of very intimacy, a one-to-one
Mm.
conversation. So at the end of the day, I think it's really going to be a learning journey. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and I hope that you will eventually be able to find a platform that is allow
Mhm.
you to be you and at the same time allow you to be at the service level. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So I'm gonna shift the gear a little bit here because earlier you
Mhm.
also mentioned briefly about human design, and that is something that it sounds very interesting to me. So would you like to share a little bit more about that?
Okay, I mean, I'm truly not an expert in human design.
Sure,
I've
sure, no
only heard
problem.
about and learned human design in terms of like understanding my own design. But
Hmm.
basically, I'll just kind of share like briefly what it entails, but feel free to go and do your own like research on it, because I'm sure other people would have explained it much better than I can. But human design, from what I know, it's based on different ancient systems. So it's based on like the Hindu chakra system,
Hmm.
Western astrology, the Chinese I Ching, and the Jewish like Kabbalah. The founder or the person who came up and developed this human design system is called Ra Uruhu. So he actually kind of channeled or downloaded this system based on all of these ancient concepts and ideas and integrated them in such a way to say that each of us are so uniquely designed that no one individual is ever the same. And this is really based on your birth time, your birth date, and the place of birth. So which is where like the astrology also comes in. So based on all of these three factors, you can kind of find some websites online that provide you with a free chart which explains your human design. So for myself, what I learned from my human design is that I'm a projector. So projector is one of the four main energy types, and a projector, basically there's about 20% of the population, world population, are made up of projectors. 70% are generators, and then I think 9% are like called manifestors, and 1% are called reflectors. So generators, at the very like essential level, is that they're here to do things. They have like the energy, the life force to be able to do things. So that is why they call them like generators, right? Like they're constantly generating. And the world, because there's 70% of the world is made up of generators, that the world is created in such a way that everyone is uh, kind of put into this box of you're here to produce, you're here to constantly do, but that doesn't work for everyone. So for example, the other 30% of the population might actually find that they don't have the energy to keep up with that generators. And so for me, knowing that I was a projector and that my role here wasn't to constantly be doing things and to be working like 8 hours a day, you know, whatever job I was doing, like previously, it was like meeting clients, doing a lot of paperwork, like using my head a lot. And usually when you're working in like a 9 to 5 job, there's really not much space or time for you to rest when you want to rest. You really have to follow the timing and the rhythm of the organization, and other people are dictating your time instead of you allowing yourself to listen to your body and your body's needs. So when I realized, okay, I'm a projector, I don't have that constant energy source within me to be able to continuously work. And I'm really here to guide other people in learning how to use the energy more efficiently. So that's one of the roles of the projectors. So when I learned all of that, I was like, okay, that actually gave me permission to like recognize why I had this like innate like feeling and sense that I really needed to slow down. Like even though I loved doing my job previously as a social worker and I was good at it, and people recognized me for my work, but it still didn't feel aligned, like deep within. I just felt like I can't be continuously doing this job, work again and again, like 9 to 6 every single day. Like it was really just taking a toll on me. And learning my human design really helped me to see why and gave me that validation that I needed, that it's not because I was a failure for not being able to keep up with the others, but it's because I was designed in a very unique way and I needed to learn how to honor my design. Without that acknowledgement and without honoring my design, I'm continuously going to face that resistance in life and not really be able to achieve like real success for myself. Um, because I remember when I was in my previous organization, I was actually promoted from like a senior social worker to like an assistant manager, and I wasn't happy at all. Like most people would be really happy that they got a promotion, but I was like, wait, like this is not what I want for my life. Like I don't want to be stuck in an organization and just work every single day just trying to reach like the highest rung of the organization. Like that wouldn't be success to me. So then I had to take an honest look within myself and ask like what would success be to me personally. And that's when I realized that okay, I needed to redirect and shift out of this role, and really live more in alignment with my own energy type, as well as all the other elements of my human design profile, which there's so much that that is part of your human design that I don't think I'll be able to explain all of them here. But yeah, that's kind of like the summary or the gist of it.
Wow, I love that. Um, After our conversation, for sure, I'll check out. And if you know any website, to take a quiz and learn more about human designs,
Yeah.
feel free to share. I'll put the link below for our audience as well. And you
Okay.
mentioned that, by going through the human design, is actually help you to live more in alignment with your energy and other aspects in life. And I think it's definitely very important because a lot of time we feel that we are not belong to a certain group. Feel that we are out of place. We feel that we are very different, but we wasn't sure why we are feeling that way. And a part of being able to identify and live in alignment with your energy. There's something I want to chat with you as well. Is that when you're in a conversation, let's say with your family, with your partners and stuff, do you find sometimes it's very hard for you to explain the way that you decided to live your life, the reason why you make such decisions, because it's easy for us to understand because we have the foundations and we go through a journey. But for people around us, no matter how much they love us, sometimes they will probably having difficulty to really accept or understand our decision. And did you have such situation, and how did you actually overcome that?
Yeah, wow, that's a really great question because I think a lot of people do go through that struggle, especially when they're
Mm,
trying to listen to their own needs and their own
mm,
body. Um, yeah, I definitely had that same experience.
mm,
So obviously my family, like my mom, and my uncle who's close to me, like they didn't understand my decision to leave my previous job. Like they didn't
mm,
get why I would leave like the comfort and the safety of a stable job for something that wasn't even a guarantee because I had no like background in doing business. I had no idea. Like no one in my family really are into business as well. Everyone has like a full-time job that they are committed to. So yeah, they couldn't understand my decision. But I guess the thing that supported me was that since a young age, I've realized that I've never really asked like my parents or the people around me for I don't ask them for permission and I've never asked them for their inputs before I make a decision. So it's just been something that I grew up with where I kind
mm,
of make my own decision internally. And once I've come to a place where I feel like this is the direction I want to go in, I inform them. I just tell them that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Like, so there's, even though they might not agree with me and they might have other opinions, I just kind of let them share their opinions and I take it in.
mm,
I see if there's any value in it. And if I feel like, no, it doesn't align with what I know is true for me, I kind of let them go. So I just kind of like let it in through one year and out the other year kind of thing.
mm,
Yeah. And of course, I also know that the people around me, they mean well, like they want
mm,
what's best for me as well. And they are sharing their opinions based on their own view of life and their own conditioning
mm,
about what is safe, right? So I think just maintaining my own awareness that this is where they're coming from and not letting it affect me too much also helped. Yeah.
mm. Okay. So that means you are still open to, listen to their opinions and, advice, but at the end of the day, you know yourself the best and you know that you're
Mm,
living in alignment and you still gonna be focused and continue to live your life according to your decision, right?
yeah. And I
Okay.
guess I also have I do have that faith and trust that no matter what decision I make, it's for the best in my life journey, which means that I
Mm,
can't make a wrong decision. Because even if I were to meet challenges or obstacles along the path, I'm learning something from it and I'm growing as a result
mm,
of it. So in that sense, it's not a wrong decision because maybe I'm meant to go through that challenge because I was meant to
mm,
evolve in a certain way. And without having met that challenge, I wouldn't be able to grow, right? So I guess that's also the perspective that I'm coming from that, yeah, no matter what, I will be directed in a path that's going to be for my best evolution because one of
mm,
my biggest and strongest value is that of growth and you can't grow without meeting some form of challenge or difficulty in your path. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And I think a lot of time is also coming from probably a fear of failing, a fear of failure.
Mm.
And I've loved one of the quote I've heard recently is that if we ever fail, right, we are not gonna fall backwards, but we're always gonna fall forwards. Whatever kind
Mm.
of challenge that we encounter is actually help us to grow. It's help us to learn our lesson and to be better. So
Yes.
really love that you have found your anchor. You have found that
Mm.
clarity and wisdom in you that allow you to be strong and firm in the decision and how you wanted to live your life from now on. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for your time, Elia. And I've learned a lot from our conversation.
Mm.
So before we say goodbye, is there any very last message or or lesson that you think that all of the women who listen to our conversation should know? Some very best lesson that you have learned along the way.
Wow. I would say just listen to your heart. And I mean, it sounds so cliche, right? They say that follow your heart, but that's kind of what came to mind as you were sharing that or asking that question, because I was thinking like so many of us, we like the whole idea of this Project 35, like we keep ourselves small and we tend to listen to what other people want for our lives instead of listening to our own hearts about what we desire for ourselves. So I would say tune in to your own body, to your own heart wisdom, and trust in that and follow whatever guidance you receive from within instead of looking to others for the guidance.